This time on Roadworthy Rescues, we buy an old tow truck out of a scrapyard and try to drive it home, then get towed. Terrible, terrible idea. This is gonna be expensive. There's a lot of projects out there I'd like to take on, like this 57 four-door, see a Chevelle, Roadrunner, panel wagon back there. But they're not vehicles you could just spend a day on, get them running, and drive them back. But I think I got the fix for that. I just picked up a tow truck. Of course, it doesn't run either. But hopefully in the future, we can do extractions with vehicles just like this. I see it back yonder on the hill here. Let's go check it out. Oh, here it is. This thing looks awesome. Kind of digging the color. You know, this was actually sold as a 74, but I can tell that it's a 79 because of the way that it is. The grill here is kind of the big giveaway. 77, 78 had the park lights up here. The early 79s had the round headlight, and then late 79s had the dual headlights. Let's check this thing out. Actually, let's verify the year. We can look inside the door frame here. All right. Dodge Fierago Plymouth DeSoto. Sure, it's one of those. Anyway, D3, of course, that's the 300 model. We got a T in here, which is the engine code. That's a 364 barra, that's great. Right after that is the year. We got a 9, so 1979. But that's just the door here. We can verify on the cab as well. Yeah, so here we can see 1178. So it was manufactured in late 78. So this would have been an early 79, as we saw from the front end there. And this is really interesting. I just found this tag here, Kentucky State Parks, and that looks factory. So this was originally a Kentucky State Park truck. Explains the green, well, everything, basically. I don't know what they used it for with the cabin chassis, but let's check out this wrecker bed. It looks pretty cool. So this is a very sought after third generation Dodge pickup. Pretty big kind of era for Dodge. 73, of course, they kind of pioneered the extended cab. They called it a club cab, just more room in the cab with some jump seats. And then 74, they offered the 440 in the light duty trucks, which was wildly popular. And you got the Dynatrac, which was the new dual 10,000 pound rear, which became really popular on a cab and chassis truck. This one being a state park truck, I don't know what it was. Flatbed, dump truck, not quite sure. I can obviously tell you it was converted to a tow truck at some point, painted white and then painted green again. This is a Canfield wrecker. They're out of Detroit, Michigan. They started in the 40s. Started off converting Willys Jeeps into tow rigs, I guess you can say. One of their sayings was easy as ABC. For about $300 some, you can convert it to a tow truck. And they said in less than a minute, you can go from a Jeep to towing something. Unfortunately, they went out of business in the early 90s. There are a ton of different wrecker bed styles, especially with the sling, but they're all basically the same principle. Basically, it's just a gin pull truck with some flapperoonies and some chains. This thing is really up there. I mean, it's higher than Willie Nelson, if you look at it. Pretty much got a clutch lever down here. I don't know which one's which. Probably this one, maybe. And then one, you just jam it in the transfer case. And that actually runs the PTO to the winch down to your flaps here. And that's pretty much it. This one appears to be in really good shape other than being dented and smashed and full of moss and mold and severely rotted. But I mean, it's all here. That's neat. Thunderbird right there. Oh, yeah, it hits you. It's like a gym sock full of abscess teeth, but that's fine. Why is everything so exploded? Oh, the dash. You know, Dodge dash, they last. They're really good. This one seems to have survived as well. Of course, you got the Manuel windows. They work really good. This is all here. Was originally a manual, which is nice. It wasn't converted or anything like that. 56,000 miles. No, more like 1,056,000 easily, based on the pedals and whatnot. Also, the armrest is really neat. It's just got screws, and that way you don't fall asleep. Ouch. Get to work. Ouch. Seat's brand new. I mean, we could probably just clean it off a little bit, shine it up. I mean, we could bring this around pretty easy. Heavily smoked in, that's also okay. No carpet. Ooh, we got jumper cable. Free. Let's pop the power barn, see what we got going on under there. Well, we got V8-age, tell you that right now. Looks pretty complete, actually. I mean, the belts are rotten and it's dirtier than a Miley Cyrus video, but it's all here. We got lightning hoses still in here, fuel make it happener, electro-digital ignition. Great. I really like the electricities. Custom battery box, so you know that'll work great. I mean, it looks to be pretty complete. Wait a second, that's a 2-barrel. That ain't a 4-barrel. I wonder if the 360 was pulled and a 318 was put in with the 2-barrel. Could be, I don't know. I think what a guy's gonna do is just slide under this quick and see if this is a 318 or a 360. I'm just curious here now. There's dirt daubers. They're everywhere, specifically in my retinas. Oh, I got some good lighting in there actually. 360, I'll be dipped. Well, that means someone robbed the intake and the 4-barrel off of it and swapped something else on. But we got the big whopping 360. That means we got like 153 horsepower. Rip your mullet right off your head. Well, a guy can already kind of visualize where I want to go with this truck. I think I want to put some like really aggressive tires on this thing, some like mud terrains or something like that. Maybe paint the wheels up. Put some shine juice on it, some old school lettering on the doors, and the wrecker bed would be awesome. Get all the lights working on this thing. Put a new light bar on it. And I think I'd really like to get this wrecker bed kind of modernized. Get rid of this old PTO system and clutch system. Maybe put in a new winch, something wireless maybe. Get that thing operating. But of course, it all starts with getting this thing running and driving and back to the shop. So it turns out we bought a non-running Dodge tow truck with no keys. So the next step is, well, we got to figure out how to hotwire this thing. No. Oh, broke my can opener off in it. Great. That's fine. Up a creek with 2 paddles. We're gonna use some help here. I got Matt, the guy that runs the yard. He's gonna take the skid steer and push me, get this thing down on some level ground where we can work on it. Mainly get the tires and wheels off, get it up on jack stands. Good. That saved me like, I don't know, 13 days of the old jack handle, you know what I mean? We're gonna try it on the front as well. Also pushing jacks and gravel. Not very conducive. Go ahead. That's good. Thank you. Yep. First order of business, get these tires off the truck, get them down to the tire shop, get some new rubber on them. Hopefully all these come loose. These are big guys. Yep. Yeah. Yeah. They're 300 years old, minimum. Yep. No broken studs. That's a huge win. Full of dirt daubers. That's weird. Yeah. Just gonna jump it right here at the terminals, see if this thing turns over real quick. Well, that's good news. Now, we just gotta figure out how to do that, you know, Fast and the Furious style under the dash, where you go zzz, 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 and then it starts. If you touch the, I don't know, if you just start sparking wires in here. I got that. So that's good. Now, I just gotta hook the other wires that's got the juice and the lightnings into the, the other wire. I think it's blue or something. I don't know. That turns on the ignition ECU control boxy things to the ignition coil. But I need switches for that. I got one here, and I think that's to the, it's probably to the, up there, which you don't really need right now. I do need a couple though. I need like a momentary switch for a starter, and I need an on-off switch for ignition. So far, I hate everything about this truck, so that's good. I don't like doing electricities. Okay. That's the last time that's happening today. Nothing. Perfect. Ouch. That's 12 volts. Okay. Is that a snake skin? I'll be dipped. That's fine. It's probably under the seat. No. I just found a Tanya Harding. Free. Good handle, too. Well, I think a guy's got 12 volt cranking figured out, 12 volt constant, and then of course the start is pretty easy on these. See, Mopar and Fords, they got this steel me junction right down here you can use. So I got everything plugged back in where I think it's supposed to go. Now we'll go ahead, check the oil on this thing, throw some fire maker down the app, see if this thing runs. Ring the thunders. Ring it again. Ring it again. Here we go. Come on, girl. Come on. I'm gonna say we ain't got sparkles still. Whoever designed this ignition system needs audited. Full on, 7-year. Where's the receipts? There it is. This little rascal right here. See, it's all melty. Why did you melt? Oh, we had a digital fire. This is getting better and better. I kind of feel like headbutting a wood chipper. You know what I mean? I think we had some toasty digital parts. So what we're going to be doing here is putting in a Mopar electronic ignition kit. And basically this would be something you'd use to go from like a point style if you're upgrading to the electronic ignition. I'm just using the kit because I got a new pigtail here. And we're going to replace the ECU as well. This one has gotten really hot, as we could tell from all the burned wiring and stuff in here as well. Since we're going to be hot wiring it anyway, we could just bypass all of this old, burnt, rotten, melted mess and just create a ignition system on the side. We'll have a toggle switch for ignition on and then a push button for start, obviously. But this will allow us just to lay in all new wiring for this puppy here, and then hopefully we should have a spark. Mopar, no car, they say. Well, give me no car then. I'll walk. Okay. Oh, yeah. Now we gotta make sure the button works. I guess we could test that. Hits! Perfect! Hits! Even better. Well, how could that be? Hits! Yeah. What? Let me tickle on it a little bit. Rebuilding the starter. Oh, that feels good. There's the bushing. It's right there. Okay. Rebuilt the starter with the hammer. Here we go. Okay, I'm not touching that anymore because, the starter's it's about dead. That's fine. Suppose a guy should just test this coil with the luck we're having. You gotta be joking on me. Primary coil is bad. Good thing we check that. Just threw out my C7. I think I got another one. We'll jam that in there. Nothing says you're obese like caving in a bucket. So now that we've basically completely rewired the ignition system, we're gonna try her again. Ring the thunders. Bring it again. Bring it. Oh, the PTO is engaged. You could tell because the hook just dropped 17 feet. So that's, we'll deal with that quick. Wow, this was laid forward, which I'm assuming must be, PTO on, power takeoffs. Now we got it back. Sure. Now let me know it fires up, runs a little bit. Might as well not run it anymore in the old dinosaur juice, so put a new filter in it, dropped oil. I think we'll throw some sparkulators in it, read on them, see what they're looking like. Tells us a lot about how the engine, you know, ran poorly when parked. It's running on at least 6 cylinders though. How many you need? Whoa. We'll just pretend we didn't see that. Next, I'm gonna take this old fuel Make It Happener off. We got a El Cheapo replacement. Swap them out quick. We got a fuel system rigged in here, a little tiny tank, but what I'm gonna do is actually use the digital clicky-clacky here, fire it into the battery, and we could prime not only the pump, but hopefully try to push some through and fill the bowl as well. See what happens. It's alive, it's running. Record bed works. That's pretty cool. Who knows how old the thing is? Sitting here idling. Today was a great day. Got the old wrecker pulled down from the hill there. Got the tires busted off. Those are in the shop. New ignition system, basically. Ballast resistor, ECU, lightning coil, lightning hoses, sparkulators, you name it. Replace the fuel, Make It Happener, change the oil. It runs. It doesn't knock, it doesn't bang. Coolest thing about this truck is the wrecker bed actually works. It functions up and down, the clutch, the levers, everything works. Now I kind of just want to pull stuff home with it, if I'm being honest. Tomorrow, we got to work through the brakes, clutch, cooling system. I think we might get her home yet. Oh! Safety squints. Well, good morning. Starting today off with a starter replacement. There's a rumor you can just apparently toss any old starter in a Mopar, but we're gonna see if that's true or not. We also have a flex fan we gotta fix, a fan shroud, hoses, belts, cooling system, charging system, clutch, fuel tank, brakes, tires and wheels. Other than that, we're in great shape. You know, it runs, kind of-ish, so far. But I gotta get this in, hopefully, so we can get back to that running status and then, you know, continue on. What the? Got it. Oh, now I get to lay on that doing brakes today. That's fine. I didn't spill any down there. We recycled it. Okay. Yep. Looks like the tires just arrived. Let's go check these out. Perfect. This is exactly what I had in mind. 235 85 16s. So they're gonna be skinny enough to run duals, but I like this aggressive tread pattern. A little bit of sidewall bite. You know, the tow capacity just went up 8,000 pounds. Awesome. That's gonna look fantastic. Oh yeah. I'm gonna put some ice cube juice in it here. Get this thing fired back up this morning and heat it up. Hopefully the head gaskets are good and it stays cool. We got quite a ways to go back to the shop, so if it can't stay cool here in the scrapyard, it definitely ain't gonna stay cool on the highway. New battery, This one's got more juice than Arnold Schwarzenegger. Spinning a little faster, you know? Oh, much better with that new starter and battery. The whole thing runs pretty good. Now we'll let it heat up. Once the thermostat opens, it'll start circulating, and then we can start looking for leaks. Thermostat opened. Also good news, it runs terribly bad. On 7, maybe 6. But this one in the back here, according to the heat gun, it's only firing about 58% of the time. Got a massive vacuum leak somewhere. Haven't been able to track it down. Probably the intake gaskets that are covered in dirt and acorns and dirt daubers. So that's good. It is, you know, running though. Clutch works. So I guess we're winning-ish thus far. Oh, and it's not charging. Great. That one's never coming off. Torque. The good news is tires are never coming off again. Okay. Sweet. We've got a massive vacuum leak on this thing. So I'm gonna do the right thing and just wire the choke partially closed. See if we can just get it running good enough to start testing other things on the vehicle. All right, let's see if it starts. It's rolling, but immediately stops. I'm not hitting the brake there. Maybe I just scoot this down the frontage road, see if we can get these front wheels freed up a little bit more, or they're gonna overheat and lock up, and then I'm walking back here, basically, to get the skid steer. So, what's the worst that could happen? All right, here we go. Well, we got power steering. So these front wheels aren't rolling very good. The rotors are really scored up. I mean, a guy could just take them off and turn them quick, but we're gonna let the pads just kind of self-clearance. Hopefully, that's the theory anyway. Nice thing is we're off the main highway. We're kind of back in an old neighborhood. Brake check. Oh yeah, there's a little bit of something. Now if they just break free a little bit more. You know, who knows how long it's been since this truck's been on the road. Fourth gear. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, there's smelling brakes. They're definitely getting hot. Front end is shaking now from the calipers grabbing. I got her to the floor right now. Well, we're not really moving, you know. Tired, old, heavy, front brakes dragging. Oh, another snake skin just fell from behind the dash where I've been digging for a day and a half. That's fine. Well, the front calipers are smoking and they're also weeping, which means the seals in them are shot. Basically what's happening when I hit the brake pedal, they'll squeeze, then they ain't coming back. That's probably not so much the caliper as it is the rubber lines. You know the deal. You've seen that. So we're gonna have to get into that today if we're gonna make it back, and I am super excited. But first, let's go headlight shopping. I only got one. Well, the guy's got to tear into these brakes. New calipers, the rubber lines, pads, probably even clean up the rotors a little bit. And I got to thinking, wait a minute, now that it moves around, let's scooch it in on this concrete so a guy could stop wallowing around on those rocks. That'd be nice. We'll get her jacked up, bust the front tires off, and get to work. This is gonna be quite the process, but we'll get her done. Nope. I don't wanna do it. You know, we don't have time to take this into town, so I'm just turning the rotors myself. Hey, we got brakes. Well, 3 of them. We got some juice to the back left. New calipers and pads are in the front. It's all bled. Gonna throw these tires back on. We got about an hour and a half left of daylight, so we're gonna try to cannonball this thing back to the shop. Hey, so I was just kidding. We're not leaving right now. I had forgotten on my to-do list was, you know, have a charging system. That would be pretty nice. So I'm splicing into the original harness right now to get the bat wire from the alternator. And we're basically gonna jump it straight across to the battery. I'm gonna run a toggle switch into the voltage regulator. So basically when we flip the ignition on for the ignition system, we're gonna fire up the charging system as well if all goes well. You know, it's not going to run at 18 volts wide open. We'll get the relay doing the relay things and the regulators and all that stuff. So here's hoping. Oh, I just like this truck so much. Let's fire this thing up. Put the electro-digital meter on her, see if it's charging. Charging. Oh yeah. Man, this thing needs work. Woo. I'm gonna rig in this boat tank. We have no idea what the contents are. We just need the fuel capacity. I'm gonna run a filter, of course. Probably 2 of them, actually. Fill this thing up and we're just going. We're gonna see what happens. Well, we tried our best. Fuel pump failure. We don't have another one. We're out of fuel pumps. Mechanical's down, electronics down. So we threw the towel in. We got a tow truck here to haul our tow truck. Last night, the tow truck was fighting us quite a bit. We made it about 35 miles-ish, and then we had to get it towed. Got in about 1:15 this morning. That's fine. But we made it. We're here at the shop. I think today the first thing we got to do is just power wash this thing, see what we're working with, get it in the shop, get the tires and wheels back off, and start going through this thing. It needs a lot of work. You want to check out my switch in here? So this one broke. And I could tell it was broken because it was blowing sparks out of the dash. You can actually see where it arced. So I went ahead and, you know, fancied her up a little bit. To be fair, it's ivory, okay? It's nice. So this is Quad Zero steel wool with the soap in it. Get it in a kitchen aisle. And I'm just going over this hood because you can see it was leaving stripes. And this is just an easier way. It's kind of like doing the old Ajax wash, but this is my version. See that rust there? It'll take it right off. So I'm gonna rinse this off one more time. We'll roll it in the shop, get her up on jack stands, get the tires and wheels off. I'm gonna send them in for some powder coating. And then we just gotta jump into the big to-do list. Try to get this thing roadworthy again. So what I'm doing here is stripping everything down to the block, basically. I'm gonna get the intake off and replace those gaskets. We've got a big vacuum leak on this thing, and I have a hunch these intake gaskets are just shot. Can't really dial in this fuel, make it happen here until we get all the vacuum leaks taken care of. While we have it stripped down, we're gonna go ahead and put a new cam in it. And by that, I mean, we're just gonna Craigslist rebuild. Lightning whirler. Those have been off 100 times. Clean them up. Yeah. All right, let these dry for 2 months. So we weren't getting filled with the front of the truck there at all, and we couldn't blow air through the line forward and back. So I disconnected the line at the tank. We found out that it was in the tank. So I dropped the fuel tank, pulled out the sending unit here, and this pickup tube was absolutely plugged solid with varnish and sand and a bunch of gross stuff. Been working on it for a while now and finally got it broke free. So I'm just gonna keep cleaning this out a little bit longer. Put everything back together, put the tank back in the truck, and then we'll be good to go. All right, before I start putting all this back together, we're gonna rebuild the engine here really quick and, you know, just do a little bit of this. There's a new water pump real quick. Oh yeah. Now while this is drying, I'll go clean up and paint the intake and valve covers. We get that back on, then we'll really dig a coat in, you know what I mean? Had a great day in the shop today. A lot of work done on the truck. We stripped the engine down, got everything painted. It's drying right now. The big one was getting the fuel tank working, sending unit, the fuel line, everything like that. We'll get the pump in the morning. Right now I'm gonna fog down the whole engine bay here and let that dry overnight. Tomorrow we can do full assembly, get this thing down on the new powder coated wheels. And the big one, looking forward to painting that wrecker bed and getting to play around with it again. See you bright and early in the morning. So last night I painted the engine bay and it actually turned out pretty good for just, you know, a little bit of a spray bomb there. Decided to make a list of what's left to do. I thought there was only a few things. It turns out, well, there's quite a bit. We've got reassembling the engine still. I'm gonna go ahead and rebuild the carb that's rebuilt because it needs rebuilding. And then add some gauges, oil pressure, temperature, that'd be nice. Bed lights, cab lights, put a light bar on this thing, get rid of these retro ones, something a little bit more bright, modern. Paint the bed, which is gonna be a big task, but I think it's gonna turn out great. Go ahead and service this wrecker, make sure all the cables and hooks and everything are safe to use, actually. Paint and lettering, really excited for that. Want to put some old school lettering on this truck, on the doors, and maybe some pinstriping here and there. Make a push bumper out of the front bumper. We got the steel, we got to add a little cushion there. Clean up the wiring under the hood. Maybe change the mirrors or modify these. Quite the list here, so I had better get started this morning. Oh. I guess you can kill a Milwaukee drill. Great. I'm gonna dig into this carburetor here. It's not idling well. It is a reman, but that doesn't mean something could have been missed. I need to check the idle bleed, tube, and passage and just make sure that there's not a restriction or something in there. So I changed the jetting in here and also the shot on our accelerator pump and the gasket between the base of the carb and the intake. Hopefully that'll resolve our fueling issue and vacuum leak. Oh, we got actual oil pressure gauge, and it's got a lot of oil pressure. Well, as you can see, our list actually grew a little bit, but let's go ahead and work through this thing. Reassemble engines done, rebuild carb, added some gauges on the inside, oil pressure and temperature. Don't have the light bar on yet. We're gonna wait till we paint the bed. New distributor is in, the wiring cleaned up. We have new LED tail lights and headlights, and we've got some running lights as well. Coming up next, we're gonna do tires and wheels and get ready to paint this bed. So I decided I want to paint the bed, not the whole bed, but just the inside. Gonna keep this gorgeous patina on the outside, but I just think this is gonna look pretty nice. So I'm gonna go around, tape everything up, get the cab protected, roll it back outside, and we'll get the gun out and just go to town on this thing. Tires and wheels just got back from State Line powder coating out of Alabama. These guys did a fantastic job. They actually dismounted, blasted, powder coated, and mounted again for us. Perfect color. It's called Oyster White, and it's gonna match the truck really good. Wheels and tires are on, and they look fantastic. Last thing for tonight, roll this outside and paint this wrecker bed. So this is Browder. I actually met him in the parking lot of a tool store. I pulled up in an old truck. He pulled up in his old truck. And we kind of locked eyes. We're like, hey, nice truck. And then he said, hey, I do lettering. And he was taught by a third generation fellow. I've seen this in the past. It is more than an art to understand how to do this stuff correctly. So this is going to be really fun. So basically what I was thinking was, obviously you've got this outlined on the door already, kind of our logo here. But then that, you know, cowboy Cadillac look with the pinstriping, you know, around the wrecker bed and on the cab, maybe a little bit of something on the hood.
Sure.
I'm sure you know where to go from there.
Oh, yeah. Turn me loose. Let me go.
There you go. The only thing is if we can get as close to the color of the wheels and kind of the bed with some of the art.
What I had in mind.
Perfect.
I've already got you ready to go.
Awesome. All right. Have fun.
Awesome.
Looking forward to seeing it.
Thanks, man. I just started off with just a rough sketch, just to kind of lay the lettering out on the door. I don't actually follow every little mark that I make. It's just for positioning, basically. And then I freehand letter this using these brushes. These brushes are called quills. After many years and many, many hours and weeks and months and years of practicing and having this brush in my hand, I'm able to do this. And it takes a lot of dedication and hard-headedness, or whatever you want to call it, to get good enough at this to make a living, which I've fortunately been able to do. I've been through ups and downs, you know, through the years with different things, and no matter what I had to do to get by, I always did this, no matter what, and always will. Very fortunate. I'm leaving all these brush strokes in there and the whole feel of the letter, you know, to make it look like it's old, like it's been on there since '74. To me, the really true way of pulling this technique off is the real sign painter is going to know the strokes. A lot of people, they'll paint the letters and they'll come back and take thinner and a little rag and make it look older, which you can do, and that's fine. But the true sign painter can actually leave those marks that nobody else can do.
Well, Browder just finished, and the truck looks absolutely amazing. You really brought the concept to life. You did a wonderful job. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity. Been a fantastic work with you guys.
All the little stars and the stuff over the fender, I never even thought to do that, and he just came in here and did his thing, and it's absolutely perfect. I want to change nothing. So thank you so much.
Thank you, my friend.
Appreciate it.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. Well, leaving the scrapyard there with this truck, this thing was an absolute handful of trying to operate. Double clutching and sliding the foot over, trying to keep it running with all the vacuum leaks, carburetor issues. It's running really good right now. Makes it a lot easier to drive and a lot more enjoyable, that's for sure. There's still a little bit of room for improvement in the future. You know, a dash would be nice, speedometer, actual exhaust system. It'd be really cool to get a 4-barrel carburetor on here, but I tell you what, the amount of work that I did to this truck in just 5 days is pretty incredible if you think about it. And to go from sitting on a hillside in a scrapyard for almost 3 decades to cruising the back roads of Tennessee is just mind-boggling. Well, we've got oil pressure. It's staying cool. It handles semi-decently, and it even stops. But it's still not a going to town rig because it's a going around the shop rig. So let's head back to the shop, put this thing right to work. Well, that's gonna do it for this episode, but stay tuned. We've got more cars to rescue.